Guys, it's Sarah, and today is BookList Thursday. This is a video series I do with my friend Lindsey over at Lindsey's Little Library. And every Thursday we bring you some sort of list or book topic that we feel like talking about for the week. And this week we're going to do kind of a best of 2023 list. And we're going to talk about some of the best audiobooks that we listened to in 2023. So we've, done all the end of the year stuff, like our favorites, whatevers. But we thought it'd be fun to do audiobooks because both of us listen to audiobooks. I love listening to them, especially when it's, by a narrator that I really love. It helps keep me engaged. It helps keep me reading quickly. Like, I don't want to put them down. And sometimes they can make the book a little bit better, in my opinion. And so I thought it would be fun to go ahead and share some of the favorites with you guys. And Lindsey also listens to a lot of audiobooks. It's great for multitasking. I listen when I drive. I listen when I'm doing laundry or chores or anything I don't have to use my brain for anything else for. If I'm just doing mundane stuff that's just I'm on autopilot, then I will listen to audiobooks, and it keeps me entertained while I'm doing whatever mundane thing I don't like doing. Okay, first one is Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. I loved this audiobook. It was narrated by Maren Ireland and Michael Urie, and the thing that made this book was Michael Urie, because he was the voice of Marcellus, who is the giant Pacific octopus, because yes, you get his perspective in this book, and it is one of the best things I've ever read in my entire life. And then hearing him be that voice, it was perfect, because Marcellus is very pretentious. He thinks very highly of himself and his species. And that so comes across in his narration. I would always get so excited when it was time for a Marcellus chapter, because I'm like, yes, oh, I'm so excited about this. And it was phenomenal. Oh my gosh, I loved it. So one of the best audiobooks that I've read ever, really, but definitely last year. Loved it. Another one that I read last year that I really loved was Matilda by Roald Dahl. And this one was narrated by Kate Winslet. Kate Winslet, the actress. She was fantastic reading this book. I read it in one sitting because it's a kid's book. It's very short, but man, her narration was just so entertaining and I loved it. And it's funny because I'm actually taking my daughter to a play of Matilda. The middle school is putting on a Matilda play, and she was part of the costume crew for it. So we're going to go this weekend and go see one of the last shows. But yeah, just reading that book, I had never read it as a kid, which really surprised me because Matilda is such a book lover. I thought I would have probably picked that up at some point, but I never did. So listening to it as an adult was really great. And just hearing Kate Winslet read it was fantastic. Like she did different voices and just, she's an actress, so she does that naturally. But yeah, it was wonderful. The next one I have is The Addict Child, and this is by Lola J. And this one is narrated. I need to read it because I don't want to mess up the names. Lucian Samadi and Neka Okoye. Please forgive me if I did not pronounce those correctly. This book was fantastic, and the narration for this book really pulled me in and just kept me going throughout this entire story. It's historical, and just their narration and the way that they were able to, do the accents and really place me where these people were was just fantastic, because I really felt like I was there and I was like experiencing everything around them. And it was because of their passion and, the way their voices were inflicted. And it was just wonderful. Like I could not stop listening to this. And this is a big book. This is not a short book, but I read this really quickly because I just couldn't stop listening. Another one that was definitely a favorite is Drowning by T.J. Newman. This one was narrated by Steven Weber, who is an actor. He's fantastic. I have listened to a couple of books that he has narrated, and I need to see what else he's narrated because they've all been so wonderful. He is so good. And, he's an actor, so he's into that. But just the way he will read certain scenes, especially the intense ones, I'm like, I'm just like I couldn't breathe. Like it was just, oh my gosh, this is so good. And he kept me so engaged the entire thing. I read this in 2 sittings. 90% of it was in one sitting. Like I think I listened to the first 10% in one go, and then I like had to go do something else and I couldn't keep going that day. But the next day I got on and I finished the entire book. I could not put it down. It was so good. The book itself was so good. But then him narrating it was just, it was perfect. And the last one that I'm going to share that was a favorite audiobook is Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune. And this was narrated by Kurt Graves. And I was nervous about this one because I love TJ Klune's writing. I love it so much. And I was a little bit nervous about listening to it because I didn't want the narration to take away from his writing. And that can happen sometimes. If it's not a good narration, you're not really you're not really engaged. You're kind of like half listening because it's not interesting. But that did not happen here. It was fantastic. So I was really happy about that because I literally went into this and was like, okay, I'm going to give it a little bit, but if I'm not interested, that means it's the narration because I know that I would be interested in him and his stories as a writer because I've loved everything I've read from him so far. And this was no different. The narration was great. And yeah, like it kept me going. It kept me interested. Again, like using subtle different voices for the character. So I knew who was talking and I loved it. It was great. All right, guys, those are some of the audiobooks that I listened to last year that ended up being favorites of mine. Absolutely loved them. Make sure you go check out Lindsey today and see which books she's recommending as far as audiobooks go. And we will see you guys again soon. Hope you have a great day.